Well, the greatest show on earth. The Circus came town today, and right now, this very moment, our country rover, Jamie Cooper, is under the big top. Well, at least at the Von Braun Civic Center here in Huntsville with 31's Live Eye. Jamie, rumor has it you have a very big story.
Well, Dave, I told you I probably had the biggest story around, and when I said biggest, I mean big. This is Annie Mae. She's been with the circus 35 years. She only weighs 8,000 pounds, and she's hard to get off of. Bill Buckles Woodcock is her trainer and owner. As a matter of fact, Bill's dad trained Annie Mae years ago. Bill, what's it like having an 8,000-pound pet?
Well, it's like having a big baby. She's very intelligent, been in the family since 1949, and quite a girl.
Well, can she do any tricks? I mean, good tricks for me. Now, I don't want to stomp the country over,
Right,
but...
let's stand right here, and we'll have her do a trick, and we haven't had anybody injured in 3 or 4 days.
I've heard that story before.
Hand me up.
Got a nice mouth on her.
Hand me up. All right, stand right under her. Hand me up. Hold it steady. Hold it. There we are. Hold it.
Like this? Okay, Dave, that does it for the country rover down here at the Civic Center.
Okay, step out.
Okay, oh, don't worry, I'll step out.
Our country rover, Jamie Cooper, went out to the rodeo today, and he really got himself all tied up.
If you haven't been to the Alabama High School Rodeo Association state finals, then you probably want to know what these goats have to do with the rodeo. Well, they're just as important as the bulls and broncs.
Goat tying is for the girls only, and we have to run down there, throw the goat, and tie it.
Nina Gargis from Tuscumbia has been riding a horse ever since she can remember. For the last 2 years, she's been doing a whole lot of rodeoing. And one of the things she does best is goat tying. Goat tying is just one of the events for the girls in the rodeo. The average time for tying a goat is 15 to 20 seconds. Since the goat is already staked, all Nina has to do is dismount and with a piece of leather, tie up 3 of the goat's legs. But don't worry about the goats. They've really got it made.
He lives a real easy life, just eating and drinking when he ain't at the rodeo, works very little.
So it doesn't hurt them at all?
No, they got a real easy life. Real easy.
Since this goat was beginning to get a little run down, out comes the meanest and the quickest monster of them all. And guess whose time it is? Well, now I've got my official rodeo shirt on, my hat, and the rope. Now let's get down to some action. Here we go. It does not all that bad. Easy, boy. In Newmarket, I'm your 31 country rover. Easy on the hat. Rover Jamie Cooper. Get in here, go.
Boy, if I ever saw a case of goat brutality, that ought to be...
This is the home of Vivian Welter in DeKalb County. Vivian's always decorating her yard with something a little unique, and now she's got an eye-catcher for sure. This 2,000-pound cast steel bell built in 1876 at a bell factory in Sheffield, England. Vivian bought the huge bell, which is only slightly smaller than the Liberty Bell in New York. But just exactly what do you do with a $3,000 dinner bell?
Oh, just when people come along, they want to ring it for the curiosity of it, and some people want to ring it when they get married, and some when they have a baby. And
you gonna get anything to go with the bell now?
Well, if something strikes my fancy, I probably will.
The bell is by far the biggest one in DeKalb County, and it's also becoming a big tourist attraction. Vivian says people are all the time stopping by to get a closer look. Even some bell collectors have been by. The only thing missing from the bell is the 90-pound clapper, but that doesn't mean you can't ring it. Since I probably won't be here for the 4th of July, and today's not my birthday, we're going to take this sledgehammer and ring the bell anyway. In DeKalb County, I'm your 31 country rover, Jamie Cooper. Let's hear it one more time. Got a good sound to it.
Unfortunately, that lady can't hear anymore, but...
For the last 16 years, the people working in and around the Colbert County Courthouse have seen this familiar sight. 82-year-old Monroe Wilkins. Every day of the week at 7:30, Monroe with a bag in his hand comes to the courthouse, and he stays until everyone leaves at 4:30. Monroe is somewhat of a goodwill ambassador for the courthouse. He sits at the entrance to the front door, usually talking to everyone who comes in or out. The bag that's constantly with Monroe contains a pair of socks and a pair of shoes. He doesn't want them to get stolen. Besides, it's just about all he owns.
One of the things Mr. Wilkins is always talking about is when he was a baseball pitcher. Back in the 30s, it seems that Mr. Wilkins was one of the best baseball pitchers around. And if you don't believe me, well, just ask him.
I'd like to have been too good.
Too good?
Yes, sir.
How good's that?
I know my stuff on a baseball.
Anybody else as good as you were back then?
No, Lordy.
Monroe is still in fair shape for 82. The walk from his house is 2 miles, one way. The only time he leaves his post here is to get a Coke or to visit across the street. In the winter, Monroe has a rocker inside. Monroe's also a bachelor, but why?
But I won't. Every day I know what they wanted, money. Something they won't gonna get out of me.
I didn't care for that mad life. I had to go when she said go and come when she said come. Then like come off.
In Tuscumbia, I'm your 31 country rover, Jamie Cooper.
I knew I was good.
It's the Frontier Day celebration in Lynchburg, Tennessee, and Saturday was Old Timers Day on the courthouse square. And the main event was to be a tobacco spitting contest.
How far do you think you'll be able to spit?
I will. We're quite win.
You ever got sick chewing tobacco?
No. No. Oh, this time.
You like it?
Yeah. Good.
You didn't have to be an old man to take part. Some of the contestants were kids who've been chewing tobacco longer than you might think. And just to keep things equal, a woman had entered.
Right. You go your furthest distance, that's the one that goes on the log. Then we'll go for the accuracy.
Is this enough for me?
Yeah.
Now stick it in my mouth, all right?
Yeah.
Is there anybody here that's been married over 50 years?
Yeah.
What if it makes me sick?
Been married
Be all
over 50
right.
years?
Doctor
Right
here.
on up here.
Doctor here.
I think I bit off more than I could chew. In Lynchburg, Tennessee, I'm your 31 country rover,
Yeah.
Who's been married over 50
Jamie Cooper.
Yeah.
I'm about to get sick off this stuff.
No, we'll go this way.
Here you go.
We'll go this way.
Wait a minute now. I know there's a man in this crowd that's been married for 50 years.
Somebody told me once that Cooper was a spitting image, and now I know what that meant.
Opening up a drain, they're members of the Huntsville Cavers Club of the National Speleological Society. And for the first time since 1961, these 30 or so people, men, women, boys, and girls, are going down into the Big Spring Cave.
The hardest part about going down in the cave is waiting your turn. And once it is your turn, then your hands are full because you've got to go in this ladder. And it's only about 20 feet, so let's go on down.
Big Spring Cave covers 900 feet, which is about 3 blocks. The entrance we came in through is the only way in now. There used to be another one next to the old bank downtown, but for some reason, it was closed up. Once inside the cave, my impressions of it didn't live up to their expectations. Where I was expecting walking around room, I quickly discovered crawling room only. And where everyone else seemed to be equipped for the situation, photographer John Kill and I were doing the best we could just to keep our equipment from the mud and water. And after crawling around for about 20 minutes, I finally found someone who knew where we were.
Well, you've now entered the Green Street entrance, and you've traversed back 100 to 200 feet to the stream passage. The stream goes upstream here about 1,000 feet and enters into a siphon. And back to our right, the stream goes underneath the courthouse and out the Big Springs.
Jim's wife was with him, and she also was a bit surprised at the cave.
Well, it's rather small. I prefer the football field size ones.
The main purpose of this expedition was to remount the cave and do some biological surveys. But for me, I was ready to get out as soon as possible.
Next time I volunteer to go caving with these guys and girls, I'll at least know what to wear. Because as you can see today, I wasn't very prepared. Neither was the camera. In Huntsville, I'm your 31 country rover, Jamie Cooper, and I need a bath.
Well,
Saturday night.
We sent our country rover Jamie Cooper out looking for pieces of Skylab today, and Jamie came back with some of the most unusual tales you've ever heard. Tell us about it, Jamie.
Well, Adrian, it was fun while it lasted, but it turned out to be just a big, elaborate hoax.
This is Whitley, Kentucky, population 3,000. Whitley is usually a small, quiet town, but that all changed yesterday when 2 pieces of Skylab supposedly fell out of the sky and landed here. That put Whitley on the map. This is one of the pieces found by the son of a local judge. The solar light panel has all the markings of a Skylab piece. It even has some burn marks on it. Yesterday, someone offered him $500 just for a small piece of it. The other piece, which is identical to this one, was found in front of a local utility company. At this point, everyone who'd seen it was convinced it was the real thing. Then both the local sheriff and a representative of the place where the piece had been on display received a telephone call.
Supposedly from CIA, saying that a representative from NOAB Laboratories would be here later, hopefully 1 o'clock, to check to make sure that this could be a part of Skylab and that there'd be no danger from it.
With the deputy's permission, we left for a short time, but were told not to get out of our car and not to get close to other people. Soon we were back in confinement.
As you can see, it's lunchtime here at Whitley City, Kentucky, and these are the employees of this electric company. Photographer Don Johnson, pilot Dave Norman, and myself are all under quarantine in this building. We're under quarantine until 1 o'clock, when a representative of the CIA is supposed to come here and see if there's any radiation or anything from this Skylab piece that fell yesterday. Now, someone called the sheriff's department and said that a representative would be here. Now, if no one shows up by 1 o'clock, well, the doors will be open again and everyone will go. Whether there is anything here or not, we don't know. It could be a hoax, but we don't know yet.
The quarantine went on for another hour. Then the company received another call.
The sheriff's department call said they had the second call from Mr. Robert Martin, who supposedly is with the CIA, saying a representative of NOAB would be here to check. And if it did prove to be Skylab, they'd want to pick up the pieces and the sheriff's department to meet them at a football field in the morning and take them away in helicopters.
As we were leaving, 2 men claiming to represent NASA arrived to examine the mysterious object.
They're not the real thing. Anybody with $5 could build one. It's nothing but a large piece of aluminum foil, 2 pieces of plexiglass, and a little black paint for the solar cells.
You know, we've been quarantined here for the last hour and a half. What do you think about that?
If the panel here is identical to the other panel, it is a big hoax and it's a joke. And if you looked at how this thing was made, if NASA's putting up stuff like that, we shouldn't be in space.
Thank you.
Oh, quite a day, Jamie. Is that the closest you've ever been to being locked up?
Well, I want to explain one thing. This guy, the last guy we talked to here, gave me a card. He says he worked independently for NASA. Well, NASA has never heard of the guy before, and neither has the people at this number, because no one answered the phone.
Otherwise, how did you enjoy your trip to Kentucky?
Well, it was all right, but in my opinion, these guys were the hosts themselves.
Jamie, you'll also be in...